Hey guys, if you've watched my previous video, you'll recognize this cannon as the Omni-Cannon. This was a cannon I created that can shoot pretty much any projectile. However, it has been brought to my attention that there are indeed some projectiles that it could not shoot, such as falling sand, anvils, boats, and minecarts. So I've decided to do some adaptations to support these projectiles. Let me show you what I've got. You may recognize these designs from my previous video, and here we have the first model I've designed that can actually shoot sand. You put the sand here on top, it gets propelled by this piston, falls down here, and then fired by the slime blocks. However, upon designing this, I realized an obvious mistake. Anvils cannot be pushed by pistons. In order to overcome this, I had to redesign this, and I ended up with this model. This model perfectly supports anvils. The block is kept extended and then retracted in order to cause the anvil to fall so it can be fired. A few considerations had to be presented in order to get this to work. Namely, this block needs to be retracted for only so long that a single anvil can fall. Otherwise, multiple anvils would fall at once. This required the addition of a pulse limiter, which you can find on the bottom part, causing the module to be slightly extended. However, this version still cannot shoot boats or minecarts. This caused me to design this final version, which I'm calling the Omni-Cannon 2.0. You can shoot absolutely everything, as you can see on this list of items that the cannon supports. So let me give you a demonstration. To fire an item, you need to set the repeaters on both the left and the top side to the value set on these signs, according to the items you're shooting. So for arrows X, snowballs, XP bottles, splash potions, you're supposed to set 3 ticks on the left and 3 ticks on the top. Then you put your projectiles on this dispenser. For arrows, as I've mentioned previously, they actually do travel further than expected. However, due to a rendering bug, you don't always notice. See? However, for the other items, this render bug does not exist, and you can actually see the complete trajectory. This cannon has multiple settings for TNT. I'm going to show you a couple. For a weak TNT shot, you set 3 ticks on the left and 4 ticks on the top. You put the TNT on the bottom dispenser, and you make sure that the glass block is in this position. You do not want it to be here, otherwise the TNT is going to fall down and explode the machine. So always double check that the glass block is in this position before firing TNT. And you get a weak shot. This had TNT on both dispensers. Normally, you'll pick one. It is better to stick to the appropriate TNT dispenser, which is the bottom one. However, if you wish to fire 2 rounds at once, you can normally safely use both. For a strong shot, you set 4 ticks on the bottom and 3 ticks on the top. And as you can see, the TNT travels much further. Moving on, you can actually shoot mob eggs the same way. You remove the TNT here, and the mob gets shot off. As seen in the previous videos, some mobs seem to clip to the machine and roll back. Others shoot perfectly fine. Now you can also do that with players. Just sit here on this glass block and press the button yourself. And I'm shot with this fancy little horse because I forgot to remove the mob eggs from the top dispenser. Anyhow, moving on. For fire chargers and regular drops, the setting is on 6. So let's set this to 6 and 5 on the top. And as you can see, it gets extended, the normal trajectory. As well as normal drops, you can pretty much put anything here that wouldn't normally get fired by a dispenser, and it will behave the same way as a dropper. The setting is the same. Finally, for regular mobs, sand, anvil, minecart, and bolts, you use the top module installed on this cannon. Basically, you put whatever you want to shoot on top of this block. Let's try it with sand. Gravel. Let's get these back. Now you put them in a line. Let's get an anvil. And now you set the repeaters to the appropriate number of ticks, which happen to be 10. So 10 on the bottom and 10 on the top. And you press the button. It is important, as you can see, to remove any items that remain in the dispensers. Otherwise, they can actually touch the item that you're shooting and will reduce the trajectory. Okay, let me double check that I'm doing this right. For these should be traveling much further. Let's try with 11. There you go. So you can notice that you may need to try a little bit with these repeater delays to get the results you want. In this case, you've noticed that 11 is better for sand and anvils as opposed to 10, which is the value I had here previously. Now let's go with minecarts and boats. The sign says 11 on the bottom and 10 on the top. There you go. As you can see, these are not normally shot very far because they behave the same way as players and mobs. Now for boats, you can actually place it directly on this block. The setting says 12 on both ends. Obviously, if there's not water when it lands, it will break. Finally, you can shoot mobs directly, and this will work with any mob as opposed to clipping through in the cannon with some mobs when you just use spawn X, plus it's completely survival friendly. Put your mob on top of this, set the repeaters to 9 and 8, make sure your mob stays on the proper place, and press the button, and they will be shot. So that's it. That's what I have for you guys today, the improved version of my Omni-Cannon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, any doubts on how to build this, let me know in comments below. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can see every component. However, if you have any issues with this, please let me know. See you guys another time.